Hey there and happy Friday. My name is Russ and I am your host today of the Big Agent Meeting. Today is January 9th. The reason I like this day is it's my birthday eve. My birthday's tomorrow. Saturday's my birthday. Gonna have some good time, grill some steaks, maybe fire up the barbecue. Even though it's Michigan and it's the winter, I don't care. You fire up the barbecue every day of the year. So with that said, we've got a cool show lined up for you guys today. We've got Holly Mabery, who, by the way, is in the room next door. She's going to be doing a thing on Brokerage Brief, talking about brokerage stuff that you guys get to see every week. And then we're going to kick over to the Agent Advantage, which is My Outdesk. You guys will learn what My Outdesk is. And then we're going to roll over to Brian Ellington and Anthony Esposito, and they're going to be talking about selling houses and running a real estate business. So with that said, let's kick it off right now with the Agent Attraction Advantage first part, podcast part style. What am I talking about? The stuff we're talking about, agent attraction, that goes with all the stuff we do with attraction and the growth side. So here we go, guys. Check this out. Just did a session here. Look at this. Oh, you guys can see this. I'm in an office in Phoenix, Arizona. You got Wendy Forsythe there, Holly Mabery, Carrie Lachenko, and then Scott Clary, who's our social media branding guy. We've just spent, Carrie, Holly, and I, with Wendy, just spent yesterday and today talking about social media and talking about branding. And one of the things that comes up all the time, whether it's selling houses, guys, or doing agent attraction, is you gotta have a social media presence and getting super clear on what your message is. And one of the conversations that I had is like, guys, listen, like, I'm Russ, the real estate dude. I'm also Russ, the flannel wearing woodworking nerd. And I forge knives and I grill meat and I run in my barbecue. Like, how do I sort what I post? Do I just go to all business or do I go to business and stuff? And they're like, Russ, post it all. Post all the time, because the algorithm now is so great that it sorts stuff out. Like, if people aren't liking your stuff or they're not stopping and pausing on your stuff, it stops showing them that stuff. So my concern was, like, my wood nerd people, my bass guitar people, like, they don't want to see my stupid real estate market updates. My triathlon friends don't want to see my stupid real estate market updates all the time. I want them to see it, but they don't always want to see it. So how do I sort that out? And how do I balance that? And they're like, you don't just freaking post every day, right? You want to post business stuff consistently on a daily basis, at least 5 days a week if you can. Do one post 5 days a week on something that's going on in your business. Just grab what you're doing currently, talk about it for a second. This morning I did one, was like, hey, by the way, I'm in the office early. Man, going through a real estate office, the smells, the feels, they all feel familiar to me because I've been in so many of them over the years. So with that being said, talking about attraction, whether you're attracting sales or attracting agents, get clear and get consistent on your messaging. Your branding, it's like, what are you doing? They're like, Russ, you got 15 things you're doing. I'm like, yeah, what is most of it for? To help agents sell more houses. Really, even my attraction stuff is, hey, agents, we're going to help you sell more houses. And they're like, ooh, that's attractive. Let me follow you. Okay, so you got to start thinking as you're going into this. Like, get really specific on what your brand is and what the target is. And like, even when you're doing, like, I'm grilling meat, I could talk about my business while I'm grilling meat too. So start thinking, being consistent and getting stuff out there. And don't worry who's seeing it. Get the content out there. The algorithm's going to do a great job of sorting it out, make the people see it that should be seeing it. So there's my update for Traction Advantage EXP style. All right, next up, we have the one and only Holly Mabery, who's going to be right next door recording next after me. Holly Mabery with the Brokerage Brief. Take it away, Holly.
Well, we're kicking off the new year with a bang. There are headlines all over the place. And my goal is always to break down those headlines and help you have a better conversation with your clients as they look at what's happening nationally, but you can talk about what's happening locally. So let's start with one of the big things out of the current administration. President Trump most recently announced that he is going to ban institutional investors from buying single-family homes. Okay. On its surface, this sounds like a really good idea. It sounds like it will help affordability and everything that goes into that, like what we can do to get more families in homes. But let's break it down. There's headlines and then there's realities. Institutional investors are highly localized. For the most part, 89 to 90% of all investors that own homes are mom and pop. They own 1 to 5 homes. They're like my parents, or maybe you maybe own 1, 2, 3, 4 homes as far as rentals because you've invested in real estate as an agent or you've helped clients do that. The institutional investors that the president is looking to ban, they may own hundreds of homes. And that's what's really the crux here. So there's a limited impact on what this actually looks like nationally. Additionally, investor dominance is really only in a few key markets. And of course, the challenges for home buyers, it's really deeper than just, hey, having access to the product. Now, in institutional investor dominance, these are the hot spots that we see across the nation. Phoenix, very elevated, right? That's about equilibrium with what's going on in the market. Atlanta, Georgia was the highest right now. So basically, one out of every four homes that is basically a rental is investor or institutionally owned. Charlotte, North Carolina, 18%. Jacksonville also up there at 21. Tampa's up there. Dallas, Fort Worth also looking elevated. Houston is another market. So when you look at this across the board, how does that impact as far as median home prices? Well, the national median price is $350,000. This is for a single family residence, not condo, not townhome. Phoenix is up there at 4.25, Atlanta about 400,000, Vegas down a little bit to 375. So when you start to think across the nation, what does this look like? Where are people investing? It's in smaller towns. It could be in towns in the Midwest. It could be close to colleges, right? Buying a house for our child to go to college and offset some of those costs because we're renting out rooms for roommates, and that kind of pays for the mortgage. Many people have employed these kinds of things to help them offset their costs and start to play for retirement. Now, one of the things I want you to know, especially if you have anyone in New York State, there's a new law that came into impact on January 1st. This new law requirement basically says you have, if you a single family resident or a duplex, basically you've got to be on the market for at least 90 days before they can consider being sold to an institutional investor. This is a really cool thing when you think about it, because it doesn't say you can't buy it as an institutional investor. It just means you can't outbid someone right out of the gate. This is probably a bit more equilibrium. So what it looks like for investors is we're going to give those owner occupants first crack at everything. Now, the enforcement and compliance, this is really down to the state. And when we see regulations like this, it's lovely to hear it from the federal government to kind of make all states equal, but it really is a localized concern. And so the enforcement will come from the state. They're going to be monitoring real estate transactions, and there's more to come as we see New York State go forward. What I want you to know is this. At the end of the day, when you and I are having conversations with our clients and they're saying, hey, investors are being banned, I can have better access. Yes, and affordability is impacted across the board. And this is what I want you to know. The first $100,000 of any new construction on average goes to regulation. It goes to building permits. It goes to impact fees. It's not even breaking ground. That's just before you get started. You've written a check for $100,000. And that happens hyper-local. Your city planning and zoning, could be county impact fees, could be sewer tap fees, things like that. And then you look at student loan debt. We're seeing more students today graduate with loan debt of $75,000, $100,000, and that absolutely impacts people's affordability, what they can actually pay for. Then, of course, healthcare. Healthcare in the US, that's an ongoing conversation that you and I can spend many hours discussing. But that is a reality that you and I deal with as we work with single folks, families. Everybody is concerned about what that looks like. And then, of course, cost of living. It doesn't matter if you're buying eggs or you're buying avocados, the cost is up. And finally, inventory shifts from a seller's market to multiple offers. Yeah, that's absolutely impacted for affordability. And we saw that through COVID. We saw multiple offers driving prices up, but the interest rate was low. Well, now we see the interest rate up above 6%. What we're seeing right now, or what some of the forecasts are, is that interest rates are likely to come down. Well, this is really good news for all of us, but it's going to be a slow softening of the interest rate. I don't expect us to ever see 3% in our lifetime. I don't think that's reasonable. When you look at the average interest rate over the last 40 years, it's been 7, 7%. So what we're seeing right now is some sellers are actually breaking loose from their 3.5, 4% interest rate, and they're actually getting back into the market. They're putting that property on the market. Okay, great. We're seeing more inventory come on. That bodes well for buyers to be able to negotiate smartly. So when you see headlines like this, I want you to take a pause, think about it, and think about what affordability looks like, because it is a big picture item. It's not a singular thing. I look forward to working with you this year, breaking down some of these headlines, but also giving you some tools, tips, and tricks that will help you have a better conversation with your clients as we build your business together. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Holly Mabery, always bringing good stuff. And again, congratulations, CBO. Man, sitting in a room with her and just hanging out, she is super sharp, super fun to hang out with too. So if you guys ever get a shot, hang out with Holly Mabery. She's amazing. All right, so next up we have the Agent Advantage, talking about My Outdesk. Check this out. If you don't know what that's about, now you will. Check it out.
Good morning, Russ. Thank you so much for having us here today at the Big Agent Meeting. Good morning, EXP leaders and valued agents. I'm Megan Patterson, a solutions provider at My Outdesk. I am the Chief People Officer, and I have the pleasure of working with so many of you EXP agents throughout the U.S. Now is the time for you to get your New Year's resolutions coming to life and get more time on your schedule, close more deals by using a My Outdesk virtual assistant. Exclusive to you guys in January, we have introductory discounts in addition to your solutions EXP preferred pricing, where you can get a full-time virtual assistant with us for only $500 a week. This VA is going to help you in 2026, bring all of your production to new heights, help you with listing coordination, help you with transaction support, marketing on all of your social channels, in addition to helping you call leads. Schedule time with us. Just find us on the Solutions homepage. We're here for you to learn about what your New Year's resolutions are to help grow your business. You can do so with exclusive pricing, and I hope to see you soon. I hope you guys have a great rest of the meeting. And Russ, thank you again for letting us join in today.
All right, so there you go. My Outdesk, guys. I didn't know that either. My Outdesk is talking about VAs and helping you out in your business. So make sure you take advantage of that. If you're thinking like, how do I get somebody to assist me in my business? Make sure you reach out to them and see if there's something they can do to connect you guys up. All right, so next up we have Brian and Anthony. Brian Ellington's Chief Learning Officer of EXP, and Anthony Esposito. And they're going to be talking quick about YouTube. Check this one out.
And so and maybe you've changed since then, for the setup of a channel, is there something that we need to pay attention to as real estate agents, either in the descriptions of the channel, the about section, the feature videos, or anything like that that's important about the setup of the channel?
Oh, absolutely. Like you gotta come up with a name that is searchable, because you want it to come up with Google, because Google and YouTube, it's the same company. And Google's going to promote everything that you have. So you want to find something like, I know a lot of people will use like living in Cleveland or, buying in Cleveland, whatever. They use something that is going to end up ranking on Google. There's also channel tags. And a lot of this is changing too, because it's more becoming Google indexing more than SEO. SEO is kind of dying off now. Everything's becoming more AI focused. And it's something that I have to do is I need to go in and kind of rehaul my channel tags themselves, because they were heavy SEO. Now I got to get into my ChatGPT and tell it, hey, I need Google index keywords for my YouTube channel for the keyword, like the keywords in there, and kind of let it do its thing, because that's where I've optimized all of my YouTube.
You said a lot there, and I want to go back and unpack some of it. First is, you talked about keyword seeding of like the description of the site and things like that. How did you choose which keywords to use?
Initially, it was all ChatGPT. I I uploaded everything into there and explain, like I basically prompted it and said, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm a local real estate agent in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I mainly focus on, my 4 counties of Northeast Ohio, because Cleveland's not like, Los Angeles or, New York City where it's gigantic. I live in Brunswick, Ohio, which is like 30 minutes south of Cleveland. Okay. So my radius, I'm like driving an hour, I'm in other counties that, are just suburbs of Cleveland. So I work multiple counties, and I told it that, said what I was looking to do, prompted everything. I had it do a deep search, because there is a deep search option when you actually pay for ChatGPT, to find my competitors in the area and then see what they were doing. And it went through its thing. And I said, I also prompted it to do a deep search for what people are looking for on Google and what they're searching for, homes for sale in the area, or, whatever it is that's real estate related to the Cleveland market. And once it did all that, it spit out the keywords for me. So I just copy and paste is all I end up doing. Let AI handle it, because they can do what I can do in seconds compared to hours of doing it. So it's all just about prompting AI and just let it do its thing and just tell it exactly what you need.
I've always said your next video is in your sent box. Mm-hmm. You're answering these questions all the time, right? It could be a text message, it could be an email, whatever, but you answer these questions on a regular basis as an agent. Yep. How's the market being one of the biggest ones? And so a market report makes all the sense in the world. I want to break those 3 down though. And I'll start with the tips type of videos. Generally speaking, how long are we doing those videos for?
The majority of my videos, I'm now at a point now with my subscribers where like 10 to 12 minute video for long form is kind of like the sweet spot. Okay. I have done videos that are like 20, 25 minute, and they still perform very well. But it always changes. So I always run my monthly analytics from YouTube to see what happens. Because as you gain subscribers, your best time to post changes. Your content is going to change of like length of content, type of content. So it's always evolving no matter what. But I tend to find that 10 to 12 minute is kind of like a sweet spot, because for the longer videos, you definitely have to put in more effort to keep the retention. Because that's the big thing right there is first you got to hook them, then you got to retain them. And depending on how long all that is, YouTube's tracking every single detail. So if their retention drops off, say within the first 5 minutes on a 20-minute video, YouTube's not going to continue to really push that out to the next batch, because they'll ship it off to the first batch, see how it performs. If that performs really well, then it goes to another batch, then another batch, and they keep doing that until it kind of either dies off or blows up. But, again, in our business, there's going to be a stopping point. You're not about to get 2 million views on a YouTube long form, like informational video on how to purchase a house. Like it's just not going to happen.
Well, and when you think about, you said it earlier, stopping the scroll, which is a phrase we hear all the time when we talk to social media agents, Insta, Facebook, YouTube. With a home tour, that can be easy because you've got a beautiful home, right? Just throw up a gorgeous thumbnail, and that does a lot of the work for you. When it comes to these tips and strategy kind of videos, is there a secret to the thumbnail, the overlay text, or the description that we need to pay attention to in order to get people to stop the scroll, click on the video?
Yeah. So the big one, first and foremost, is thumbnail, because that's going to stop the scroll. And then what you need is, I don't like to use no more than 5 words on the thumbnail, because it's got to be quick. I mean, you have a matter of seconds to grab somebody's attention to stop it. And it has to be impactful enough to kind of get them to think like, oh, what's this about? But also it has to line up with the title. So you got to get them to first stop and then read it, and then want to look at the title to see what it truly is about. So you're in the thumbnail itself, you're telling the story for something that's like 2-3 seconds. You got to get them to then go to the title and then read the title. And then the title has to catch them enough to click on it and be like, okay, let's see what this video is here. So there's my channel. I do got to update my banner because I don't wear glasses anymore. So I do got to change that. But if I go into videos, and I'll let you see some of my old ones. So like, there's my very first video, and I've come a long way from there. But it's simple stuff, like, like this one, second video that I ever had, and it's 183 views, and it just says must know tips. So it just gets them like, okay, well, I see Cleveland in the background. What do I need to know about that? Or pros and cons, life in Cleveland revealed. So that's telling the story of what's about to come for the video itself. And then there is, let's see, I did Brunswick. Where's one of my one? Like, let me see. See, like even this one, 34 views. I got a lead off of this one, and there's only 34 views on it.
And that's a very good point, is that people think in order to get a lead, I got to get 1 million views. You don't. You just have to get the right views. It's very easy to do. Message to market match, which I think is a very apt way of putting it.
All right, there you go. Anthony, thank you very much. If you guys want to see the rest of that story, EXP, go to YouTube, jump on the EXP channel on YouTube and just type in Anthony Esposito, and it'll pop you right to that full version with Brian and Anthony talking full dollar about what's going on YouTube stuff. By the way, I got a buddy of mine that's been working with YouTube stuff over the last 6 to 8 months, building out local color stuff on his YouTube channel, and he's actually got multiple sales. This guy's going to cap. His cap date's August. He's going to cap on his next sale. So this guy's already popped 8 sales from just doing the YouTube stuff and changing the way he does business and constantly promoting things in the market on his YouTube channel. People are coming to him and coming to him from New York and Florida, right? So this YouTube thing is pretty cool. So lean into it if it sounds interesting to you guys. All right, next up we have University Spotlight with Alyssa Specht. Take it away, Alyssa. What do you got going?
What's up, Big Agent Meeting? Alyssa Specht here, and I'm back with your EXP University Spotlight. And my friends, we are kicking off 2026 strong with some listing strategy, with some smart pivots, and some proven systems that are going to help you create predictable growth. So let me give you the rundown of what you can expect next week at EXP University, starting with Monday on Level Up. Now, we are joined by Brad Korn, and he is a coach, but he brings in 34 years of real estate experience, and he's going to be running down where the listings are. So he's going to break down the relationship-driven systems behind selling 100 homes a year as a solo agent. A solo agent. So attention, solo agents and everybody else, you do not want to miss that. Again, that's Monday on Level Up. Now let's take a look over to Thursday. We're back with another executive masterclass. Now this time we are joined by VP of Transaction Operations, Krista Pacheco, and she's going to be talking about the pivot playbook. So you're going to learn how top agents and teams adapt in shifting markets by streamlining systems, boosting the execution, and removing growth roadblocks. So that's Thursday on the Executive Masterclass. Then on Friday, we are back with another Big Agent Meeting. You are here now, so you know the drill. But next Friday, we're going to be joined by top producing realtor and team leader Brett Sikora, and he's going to be jumping on with CEO Leo Pareja for a real estate success stories interview. Now, Brett shares the systems behind running a high volume white glove service team. You do not want to miss this because they are dominating the New Jersey market, and they're going to teach you how to dominate yours. Then again on Friday, we are back with another The Lab podcast. Now, this time in The Lab, we're joined by Sherry Johnson out of Cleveland. Now, Sherry's a coach, she's an entrepreneur, and she's going to reveal how she turns one strategic open house into dozens of opportunities. So she's going to break down how to target the right price point, how to generate quality leads. Guys, if maximizing open houses is on your goals for 2026, you do not want to miss that. Again, that's Friday on the Lab. All right, my friends, I hope to see all of you there. Block your calendar, tag your team. I'll see you there.
All right, there you go. Alyssa Speck, always keeping you up to speed on what's going on in university. You've got a lot of cool stuff coming through university, coming to university. Stay tuned. There's going to be a big announcement next week about something going on in university you guys are going to want to check out. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Here's a QR code. Guys, let us know how we did this week. Big agent meeting. We're going to be making a couple of little shifts. We got a couple of new things we're going to add. We're going to add a marketing segment. We're also going to add a segment on tech with our new chief technology officer. We're going to be adding that over the next couple of weeks. So you guys have all the information you need at your fingertips of what's going on in EXP and the EXP world. So there you go. Give us a rating on the QR code. And that is all for today, January 9th. Thank you guys for showing up. Welcome to January. 2026 is already rocking and rolling. Stay tuned for iConversations coming up next. I'll see you guys next week.